All right, we are live. Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I am Bahamia Ulysses, your geriatric care manager, joined by my co-host. We've got Robin Downs from Yoga Flava, alongside her father, Sergeant Major William Downs. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How are you, Bahamia?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You know, I'm always excited to see you too. You guys light up my Sundays. So thank you so much for being available and joining. How is everything going for the weekend? Ooh, the ice cream man is out there.
I was going to mention this. Like, does she hear it? Every time around this time it comes through. Yes.
Yes.
We're good. So a lovely, sunny afternoon, still remnants of summer as we transition towards fall here in Long Island, New York.
Awesome. And just in case you guys don't know, I'm coming in from Los Angeles, California. So we were on two opposite sides of the nation, but we come together under one accord, which is caregiving for our elders and embracing the caregiving journey. So without further ado, I will let you kind of take it away, Robin. We've got a nice format that we've been sticking to, so let's not deviate and hold up anybody else's time.
Great. Let's take our right hand and place it over our heart, our left palm to our lower belly. Today's theme is safety, and I would like to reflect back on 9/11. That was a very traumatizing time for our country. And even what's happening with COVID right now, a lot of people are feeling scared. So I would just like to anchor ourselves in feeling safe. So connecting with your hand to your heart and the palm on the lower belly, inhale, allow the belly to swell like a balloon, bringing in the maximum amount of oxygen, energy, life force. And as you exhale, softening into surrendering to a state where you feel, I am safe. Going again, inhale, oxygen, energy, life force. Exhale, and you can just say it to yourself in your mind, I am safe. Going again, inhaling, exhale, I am safe. And again, inhaling, exhale, I am safe. One last time, inhale, full belly breath, maximum amount of oxygen, energy, life force. Exhaling, releasing tension, stale air, everything you don't need, and just anchoring in the state, saying, I am safe. Thank you. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you.
Always, Robin. Thank you so much. That is always so relaxing. I tell people, you have no idea how it relaxes me. So I can only imagine what it does for our caregivers. Thank you, Sergeant Major, for joining us and making this just that much more real, because I think a lot of people don't do this with their loved ones as they are on their caregiving journey. So these small, 2 and 3 minute meditations, I think, make a big deal in terms of how the rest of your day goes. So thank you again. Now, so just to kind of keep the vibe up, I wanted to transition into our discussion about safety. So with every care plan, I think every geriatric care manager and probably every nurse and clinician always, safety tends to be that number one thing. Safety is the, benchmark of any care plan, really. And I want to go over a few things with you, Robin and Sergeant Major, about how you keep him safe and how he keeps you safe. And then also at the end, I'll provide, a few little tips and resources that I've used with some of my client caregivers so that they can use, obviously, with their loved ones and their family members even, to help them keep their loved ones safe at home or even in a long-term care environment. It really doesn't matter when it comes to safety, but there are some fluctuations. It just depends on where you're at. So first question, Miss Robin, tell me, what is the best way that you think you keep Sergeant Major safe as he's doing his thing at home and even sometimes in the community?
Well, I have to say, first of all, it's listening to what he has told me and raised me and what it takes to be safe. And I'm going to get into a couple of those little things, and then I'll tell you what I've added on to the safety plan and what others have asked us to add on. So first of all, Daddy, I'd like to thank you for always making sure that I have been safe all my life.
You're welcome.
Would you like to explain to everybody why you like to wear these and you have them all the time?
Safety.
I love it. Yes, yes. In one way.
So how is it safety? What would you say?
Well, in the evening, or when it gets really dark, the reflectors reflect the light, and this color stands out during the daytime.
So when I'm pushing my father around in the wheelchair, or he's walking around in his walker, he always insists we stop. If I don't have it on already, he stops and he makes sure I carry it in my pocketbook. He makes sure, we have the armband as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's Dad's safety tip. The other safety tip, my father carries one in his pocket and he makes sure I carry one in my pocketbook, is a flashlight.
Very good.
So a
Very
flashlight.
good.
And we were looking for it. Dad usually also carries a whistle.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to it.
I don't either. And also a pocket knife.
Wow. So let me go back. So we've got
A
the
little
reflector,
A little pocket knife,
little pocket knife,
You
not
always gotta take it out when you go to the airport.
We're talking about safety, not
Pulling it out.
necessarily-
He's pulling
yeah,
it out too.
right. Safety, not self-defense, but safety. So I get it. It's a little pocket knife. We've
Yeah,
got-
and plus, can opener or scissors or something.
Sure.
Little things. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
Okay,
Perfect.
so Dad's pockets are full of little gadgets for safety.
I love
And,
that.
can't let anybody tell him otherwise.
Well, that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. So thank you for all of your safety precautions, Dad. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. In addition to that, I have to say that I've had a lot of the safety guidelines that I'm following is because when Dad first came back to his home and Adult Protective Services wanted to make sure that it was okay for him to be in his home, there were a couple of safety things that were put in place. We did have the bathroom turned into a walk-in bathroom where he wouldn't have to, walk over a tub and get off balance, because my father does walk with a cane and does need to be, as safety as possible. So there's the handrails in the bathroom, and he has a walk-in shower. And then he also has handrails around the toilet seat so he can, get up and down.
Yep.
And then one of the things that I know he's really annoyed about, and we'll see what we could do in the fall, is we had the rugs removed because the Adult Protective Services just felt it was hazardous to have area rugs in the house.
Because I trip.
Yes, because you would trip, and we didn't want you to trip, Dad.
I didn't think I would, but anyhow,
Right. So those.
Right.
I got my cane.
Good one. Understood. Understood. I think the last thing around that, like you were saying, with the tripping and falling, with because we can trip and if you catch yourself, no big deal. But if you fall and you fall the wrong way or what have you, we worry about fractured bones and sprains and bruises and things of that nature that will be very tough for you to overcome. So while we love our area rugs, I totally understand you, Sergeant Major. I wouldn't want to get rid of mine, but if I had someone in the home that had a little bit of issues with mobility, meaning they're using a cane or they're using a walker, then I too would have to get rid of the area rugs. So I will say kudos on the suggestion there, but I totally understand you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel for you, Sergeant Major.
And I'm really happy with the new car that we just got also, because my father is able to turn around and just sit down versus like a lower car where he had to really go down, or a higher car where he has to really reach up. I just even feel safer with him being able to get into the car comfortably. So a sturdy mode of transportation, I think is really important as well. That recent car that we got, I feel safer with
Very
it.
good. Very good. Those are all amazing suggestions and things that I think everybody needs to really think about as they care plan for their loved one who's living at home with them. A couple more things that I want to add to that kind of happen more along if you're a little bit more independent, or maybe let's say, Robin, you are in another room and Sergeant Major is in his bedroom and he may need your assistance or something to that nature, or he has some kind of a situation where he falls or something like that. Everybody, I think, at some point needs to look at getting some kind of a life alert or a.
We have one. We haven't activated it.
Awesome.
It's interesting. I had it on the table for a long time, so you're need to bring it back out.
And they come in different designs. I think back in the day, they were clunky, they were ugly, and they were so obvious. And I think a lot of people had an issue around that. At least a lot of the caregivers and clients that I've worked with had issue around it, because it almost invaded your privacy in a way, because you didn't need everybody to know that you had a life alert, right? But because as soon as you see it, most people who have that know what it is. So they have
that one note here. Dad, I want to remind you that in the house here, we have on the alarm that you can call the police. Did you remember that?
Yeah, there's a paper up there.
Okay.
It says it.
All right. Yes. And so
Very
you can hit a button for the police if you need help in the house and no one's around or something. And otherwise, if I'm in the basement, sometimes he'll just call me on the phone.
Yes, which is great, which actually is the segue to my other tip for caregivers who are at home, or maybe kind of working in and around the home, but need to at least get out, right? So there's a new app, and I love apps, and not everybody is great with apps, but this one in particular, I think, lends a little bit to people who just kind of need someone or need something that's in the place of, let's say, 911. Say, when you do the life alert, as soon as you hit it, either the police or the firefighters will come, or they'll call, or somehow it's usually an emergency response. But sometimes you don't really need all that, but you do need someone to come and help, right? So there is a new app called Elder Us. Elder Us really connects all of our elders via a voice command to their loved ones on their connection tree if they have an issue. So like I said, it doesn't have to be 911, but it's voice activated so that if he's in a situation where he remembers, Robin, I need your help, the alert will pick up that message and immediately text or call you instead of calling 911.
Wow, that's interesting.
So it is. It's really, and it's actually just kind of in its beta stages, but I love the concept. I love how it's kind of being rolled out into the community. They're really, really tech savvy in terms of getting people who are just user friendly, getting people who are not used to kind of dealing with apps and doing any of that onto that platform. So that's always great. The next one I want to talk about is having like a video cam, or people have called them baby cams, but they're not baby cams. They're really just surveillance cameras that operate from apps in your phone. So again, a lot of the recommendations that I have are for kind of tech savvy people who have.
I'd like to comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
When Dad first arrived in the house, we had. Laughing. We had one of those installed. I still have it. We had one of those installed, and I was just like, either I would tell him, and he was just like, "Oh, I don't want that," or I'd put it somewhere. Each time I put it somewhere, he would find it, wrap it up, and be like, "You don't have to watch me."
Oh.
As much as I would even try to like hide it and stick it in the corner, next thing I know, he's like,
he wasn't going for it. You weren't going for it, huh, Sergeant Major? You didn't like
the video cam. I had a little video camera here.
I don't remember.
Okay, when you first came. So
when
he first came, it was just like, I'm not dealing with that.
Not going for it. And that may very well be the case. I think these are all kind of test and try and see.
And I can see someone who is with it or bedridden or whatever, and maybe now Dad's at a much different stage than when he first, came to the house. That was 3 years ago now.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, and that's part of that transition of caregiver and loved one, where not understanding how much care is needed, a sense of losing, their privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 years in, it may be another opportunity, but I'm usually around versus.
Yes, you are.
First started, I was just like, okay, this might, all the things you're saying, this might help. And then, I
Excuse
for
me.
several reasons, felt a greater need to be closer.
Be closer, absolutely. And I think, that is the pattern, or just even the journey of most caregivers, because it doesn't always start like full time, right? You kind of see as things go along how independent he can be, and then you kind of figure it out along the way. And then when things start to shift, you start to shift. And that would be part of your care plan anyways, because the thing that I want to focus on is knowing your loved one's diagnosis and diagnoses and disease paths, if that's a part of the equation, because some people don't necessarily have any actual active issues, but because they have arthritis, for example, and arthritis will generally get worse. It doesn't typically go the other way. So that said, at some point, depending again on how significant it is, you want to be prepared for maybe having to be that extra set of hands up close and personal, as opposed to, being able to call or drop in, because when that starts to happen and you haven't planned for it, it really does become chaotic. So my last tip, and it really does kind of piggyback onto what you guys were talking about with your sashes, or should I call them belts? Belts or sashes are safety belts. Is having those safety belts and kind of supportive, or we call them durable medical equipment, DMEs, right, in the house. So I would say for anybody who is caregiving for their aging loved one at home, or even if you're not that person who's right by the bedside, having what you mentioned, Robin, those grab bars available. I always say those slip grip resistant mats in the tub, and even in the bathroom floor, not just inside the tub, but outside the tub. Those are two big things. Having your home well lit at night. So I don't mean you have to keep on every single, light in the house.
Oh,
go ahead.
Sergeant Major has strategic motion censored lights throughout the house. Every night he positions them. Maybe I should let you talk about it. Dad, how come you do that?
I don't remember.
You put the lights out at night. Those motion sensor lights before we go to bed. You put the motion sensor light on the dining room table. So every time I come out of the bathroom,
I see that
the light comes on.
Yes.
I love that. I love it.
That's part of his nighttime kind of ritual thing too. And you also have like lanterns. He put some lanterns out to get some solar power. Oh, it's not here. Oh, there's one. No, that's not it. But he put some lanterns out to get some solar power.
Yes.
At night, he'll position these motion sensor lights, bring the lantern in that solar power, so that if there's a blackout during the night, he has, a whole lantern, and he does that like every night.
Very, very good. Sergeant Major, I think that I could use a lot of your hints and tips, because I didn't think about the motion sensor part of things. I've always had the kind of like night lights, but they're fancier now, right? But having those night lights in and around the hallways, the bathrooms, the bedrooms, just your common walkways, your common pathways, or to the kitchen. Motion sensor, Robin, that's a whole nother level, because that way you don't have to think about putting it on. Maybe laying it out.
Or have that light, sleeping in the dark is actually healthy for most people. So this way, walking past it is when the light comes on.
Very good. I like that, Sergeant Major. I think I'm going to have to take some notes from you. I will share that also with some of my caregiver clients, because I think that's something that people struggle with, is how to make sure nighttime stays the nighttime and daytime stays the daytime. A lot of people who have dementia or memory loss have an issue around how the day and night operates. So you'll find that people tend to have insomnia at night, and then they'll sleep all day. So very, very good way to that's like a double, a twofer, because you can kind of combat the insomnia and stay safe at the same time.
Yeah, combat the insomnia by the darkness is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
By keeping that darkness there and just keeping it very, calm. I think that tends to be an issue too with the stimulation throughout the day, if there are noises, things of that nature. So that is awesome. And I think my last tip in terms of just making sure that we stay safe, that we keep ourselves safe. Robin, you had it on before you got on, so I don't know if you'd like to pull it out. But let's see. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And one more, people. One more. She's got the whole thing. Here we go. Here we go. Bam. That's it. That's it right there. And what? There we go. Yes. It's gloves, it's masks, it's shields. And I'm sure you have your pocket hand sanitizer somewhere close by. I'm sure it's there. I know it. Sergeant Major, I know you're laughing at us, and we probably look like space. Yeah, I know it. I love it. I know it. I know she probably looks like we're heading out to space. We look like astronauts half the time. But in the day and age that we are in now, particularly with our pandemic, the coronavirus, and what's coming up, the flu season. Yes, exactly. It's true, Robin. It's true. Thank you so much for your lively demonstration. I appreciate that so much. But it's true. We're joking, we're laughing, and I'm glad that we're having a good, hearty laugh about it. But I want to say this, and I'll close on this end because then my whole spiel will be done. My segment will be done. Keeping your loved ones safe with the protective equipment is big, 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 big. So as much as you can, I know that it's uncomfortable, but those masks are essential. The shields, if you're in public, depending on where you are too going to be essential. And the gloves for anything out there in the public, I don't care if you're just opening a door. Of course, don't get back in your car with the dirty gloves and touch everything else. But if you're going outside of your normal environment, put gloves on your loved one because they'll touch things that you're not really looking at. Or people might unknowingly touch something on them that they're not looking at. Put gloves on them when they're in public. Always wear that mask. And I think above all, and the number one thing that will always stave off any of those bugs is washing our hands. Washing our hands after just about any interaction with anybody, inclusive of the people in your home. For 15 to 20 seconds, scrub, scrub, scrub. Make sure it's under warm water. Make sure you have a good antibacterial soap like a Dial or something like that to help kind of work up a rich lather and rinse and pat dry and you're ready to go. So those are my tips. That's all I got. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that protective equipment is not just for you, it's for your loved one. Even if they're not doing anything, you suit up, they suit up. I know it's aggravating. I know it's frustrating, but we've got to do it. We've got a really long season ahead of us, and we want to do our best to help kind of get us past that space and get us through it in a way that keeps everybody safe. So that's my segment. Robin, I will turn it over to you. Is there anything that I missed that we should be talking about in terms of safety or any announcements that you want to make? I'm trying to think. We're doing really good for time. So let me know if there's anything I should.
That's all I could think of at the moment. At the end, we'll see if there's anything else to bring everything together. Mm-hmm. But I did want to be able to read this letter of commendation now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, everybody. Sergeant Major is a military man, and beyond the military, he is an excellent civil servant. And when 9/11 happened, because he is an amateur radio operator, and also a member of an organization called the Salvation Army Team Emergency Radio Network. So on 9/11 in 2001, my father was one of the first responders, I think it was the day after, he said, to help keep the lines of communication open. Because if you remember at that time, a lot of cell phones were going down, communication was really difficult. So I'd like to read to you the letter and to acknowledge you once again, Dad, for your contribution to helping to keep everyone safe, to go along with our safety theme. Okay, so the letter reads, Dear William, I wanted to personally congratulate you on the work you do on behalf of the Salvation Army Teen Emergency Radio Network. Your preparation shone through following the events of September 11, 2001, and American Airlines Flight 589. I appreciate your efforts, which greatly accelerated the ability of the Salvation Army to respond effectively.
Got a nice little backdrop. I love it. I love it.
And the band played on. Okay. Yeah. Saturn is a group of over 2,000 amateur radio operators in support of Salvation Army Disaster Services. Your efforts in the Greater New York Division on behalf of the Salvation Army and its Disaster Communications Network, Saturn, has been exemplary. And I commend you for your verve, your spirit of willingness to volunteer, and your can-do posture that is integral to any organization in the accomplishment of its tasks. You well represent those thousands of disaster communicators at the ready to see that the Salvation Army's Disaster Services Ministry carries forth its ministry to help those victimized by the onslaught of catastrophe. It is very edifying for me to review the stellar efforts of your division and the great work you have personally done to raise the standard to the next level. Sincerely, Patrick E. McPherson, Major National Director of Saturn, the Salvation Army Teen Emergency Radio Network.
Wow. I love that. That's such a beautiful letter, Robin. I was reading a little bit of it earlier, and that last part, that's really nice. Sergeant Major, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service. I think that goes without saying, but I have to say it. Thank you so much for your bravery. I think most people don't really realize how hard of a time that was to really just wrap your mind around what happened. And Rob and I were talking about this earlier, that I think, almost 20 years since, most of us still have such a memory of what happened or what we were doing when 9/11 happened. And I don't think that most of us would have had enough of a, not just bravery, but enough, I guess,
preparedness.
Yes, preparedness.
To jump in and do something during a catastrophe.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a big thing I have to say about my father all his life, that he has been prepared. And sometimes I would be, like this, like, oh, it's so corny, blah, blah, blah. But time after time, it always proves to be a, life-saving blessing. So he's very attentive to that. I guess he got it from the military, but this is something that was above and beyond the military. And there's so many little citations and commendations that's hidden in the nooks and crannies of this house that I find. And I'm like, Dad, I had no idea. Like on the refrigerator, there's a commendation for Homeland Security. So thank you for keeping us all safe, Daddy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, that was so nice. I think we're kind of coming close to our time, so we'll do our, housekeeping at the end, if that makes sense. Our small housekeeping. One announcement that I wanted to make is that tomorrow I am launching the pre-sale for my Elder Care Blueprint mini course. So it's really more of a foundation for anyone who has kind of started their caregiver journey and their caregiver path, or season, I should say, and doesn't really know what to do, where to go, certain vocabulary, terminology, things that people are going to be talking to you about, things that you're going to be seeing, and just kind of the motions that you're going to be going through as you start on this path. I figured we've had these conversations around care planning, And I always find that whenever I sit down with caregivers as they start their path, they say, you know, no one ever told me, or I wish I had a roadmap. I wish I had something somewhere that someone could have given me to help me get to a space of acceptance a lot quicker, and also understanding a lot easier of what's happening with my mom, my mother or father. So that was really like the impetus of me putting together this mini course. It's digestible.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. And I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to checking out the course as well.
Yes.
And how amazing that you're launching it on your birthday.
On my birthday. Yes.
Tomorrow.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Woo.
I love that Stevie Wonder version. Yes. Thank you so much, Robin. It's been such I guess a labor of love in a sense, because it's something that I've been wanting to do for many years now, or at least a couple years, in really kind of getting together and getting the courage and the preparedness to get it together all in one space. And like I said, I wanted it to be quick and easy, something that people could kind of get that quick win of feeling like they have things under control, instead of kind of feeling like they're lost and in a sea of just unknown, really, of
So
what.
wonderful. I know it's going to be of benefit to so many people. So like I said, I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. And I encourage everyone to do the same, if anything, as a birthday present for them.
Hey, yes, absolutely. And like I said, pre-sales start tomorrow. The actual course itself will drop on the 21st. But once you'll have access to it as soon as you purchase. You'll have access to the dashboard of your student course in a way, so that you can kind of skim through a couple of the things, and all the videos and stuff will be uploaded in 7 days. So thank you so much. And I think we have one more also announcement for ourselves. And for those of you who are kind of looking for, we wanted to call this like a reset for our fall season. Robin and I have put together a program that will be happening later in the month, or will be launching later in the month, or basically early October, for those of you who really want to deep dive. So my course is just a quick and easy foundation. You get your nuggets and you go. But later on, for our fall kind of edition,
fall fresh start.
Fall fresh start, yes. Our fall fresh start, we are going to be working together on an interactive course. So this is something that will be for caregivers who almost need their handheld in a way. And I don't like saying handheld, but in this case, it is.
I need my handheld. I need a hug.
All right. Yes, get a little closer. Absolutely. This is, it really is a handhold, because we are coming to you live every week. We're putting together a nice curriculum that is not only balanced as caregivers helping their aging loved ones, but mainly for the self-care of the caregiver. So we're balancing the two. We're making sure that not only are you caring for your loved one, but as the holiday season approaches, you have the tools, the resources, the tips to support yourself supporting the loved one. Robin, do you want to say a little bit more about where your, I guess, intention about our fall reset is?
Well, that's how I live my yoga flavor life. So it's interesting now that we're, joining each other's practices, and I'm really excited about it, because every change of season, I'd like to have a theme, have a fresh perspective, and especially in the fall, gearing up for the winter and the holidays, it could be extraordinarily stressful, especially now. They're talking about, the coronavirus might be worse because it's flu season, stressful, holidays coming up. I was talking to my sister, how are we going to get together for the holidays? Stressful. So let's all figure this out together, have a support system, and not feel alone in this very challenging time. We wanted to really provide a support system and the tools to cope with the stress that is, already in my thought process that I'm trying to calm down as we look towards the autumn and winter.
Absolutely right. That is, I think, it for the day. Thank you so much, Robin and Sergeant Major. We have come close on time, but we have discussed so much, and I know that our audience finds great value in this, and I can't wait to be back next week, same time, same place. Sergeant Major, is there anything that you want to tell our audience before we sign off? We're pretty much at the end of the show.
Well, my daughter's been saying everything that's good, so.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you too for joining me again. And I look
welcome. And once again, if anybody has any questions that they would like answered for the next show, leave a comment, let us know. We're here for you.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Until next week, have a wonderful day and week, and we will see you soon.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Bye.